The Wiggles and their friends were relaxing after a show. "You know," said Greg, "I think singing and dancing must be the best job in the whole world." Everyone agreed. "Did you always want to sing and dance, Greg?" asked Anthony, polishing a big red apple. "No," admitted Greg. "I wanted to be an astronaut and ride on a space shuttle way up into space." Murray strummed a few notes on his guitar. "I wanted to be a firefighter who rode on a big red fire truck and put out fires and rescued people from burning buildings." Jeff lay back and closed his eyes. "Do you know what I wanted to be?" he asked sleepily. Anthony laughed. "You probably wanted to work in a pillow factory," he said, taking a bite of his apple. "No, I didn't," said Jeff. "But I did want to be a famous athlete and play for Australia."
"What about you, Anthony?"
asked Henry the Octopus. "Well," said Anthony thoughtfully, "I thought I'd like to be a dairy farmer with a herd of cows I could milk every day. And then," Anthony continued dreamily, "I'd have a little shop that sold milkshakes and yogurt and cheese." Dorothy stood up. "I'll just make some rosy tea for everyone," she said. "But before I do, can you guess what I wanted to be?" Everyone tried to guess. Jeff thought Dorothy might have wanted to be a gardener, and Murray suggested a ballerina. Anthony wondered if she wanted to be a doctor. Captain Feathersword suggested a sailor, but Dorothy shook her head. "I wanted to be a famous chef who could cook wonderful meals for the people who came to my restaurant," Dorothy replied as she went off to make the rosy tea. "Hey, what is Wags doing?" asked Anthony. Everyone looked at Wags, who was walking around with his nose to the ground.
"I think he's telling us he wanted to be a tracking dog who searches for lost people,"
replied Henry. Wags nodded. "Ruff, ruff," he barked. Murray turned to Henry the Octopus. "What about you, Henry? What did you think you'd like to be when you were a young octopus?" Henry looked embarrassed.
"You'll think I'm silly,"
he said, waving his tentacles around. "No, we won't," encouraged Anthony. "We're interested, that's all."
"Well,"
said Henry slowly,
"when I was swimming in the sea, I noticed that some people couldn't swim very well, so I thought I'd be a swimming instructor or a lifesaver. After all, swimming was what I did best."
"Here's the rosy tea," said Dorothy, putting the tray on the table. "And the milk is in the jug." Just then, Dorothy noticed that Captain Feathersword was sitting quietly by himself, not saying a word. "What's the matter, Captain? You're usually the first to pour a cup of rosy tea. Aren't you feeling well?" The captain gave a deep sigh. "I've just been listening to everyone remembering what they wanted to be, and I realise I never wanted to be anything except a friendly pirate. I'm very boring." "No, you're not, Captain," said Anthony. "You're one of the most interesting people I know. I could listen all day to stories of your adventures." Sometimes people do change their minds about what they want to be, and sometimes they know right from the beginning, just like you did. Now come and have some rosy tea. "You know," said Greg thoughtfully as he added milk to his rosy tea, "it's just as well we didn't take up those jobs we thought we'd like." "Why is that, Greg?" asked Dorothy. "Because if we had, we'd never have known that we could all sing and dance and make music. I'm glad we met each other and became entertainers." "So am I," agreed Murray, picking up his guitar. "But we'd better get moving. It's time for our next show." As the Wiggles and their friends began to sing, the audience clapped and cheered. Greg was right, Anthony thought to himself. This really is the best job in the world.